This is the most extreme version of the Lamborghini Revuelto yet. It's called the SV, and it is the most powerful production Lamborghini ever built. And you know what? That's not even the most impressive part about it. In this video, I'm going to take you through the car's styling, the performance, the interior, the customization, and much more. But first, a little bit of context. Now, I'm a big fan of the Revuelto, but there's no denying that it lost a little bit of madness when it switched over from the Aventador. That was a heavily compromised car, but for sheer theatre, it was incredible. And that's something that the Revuelto could perhaps do with a little bit more of. Now, I'm very confident that this won't be the most extreme version of the Revuelto that we will see by the time the model finishes its run. But even so, it's a significant step on from the standard car. Lamborghini hasn't given us an idea on pricing yet, but rest assured that it'll be a significant bump over the €500,000 or £460,000 price that you get on the standard car. In exchange for that extra cash, you get more of pretty much everything, including exclusivity and customization. Buyers will be able to pick from 4 exclusive SV logo configurations for the exterior, plus there's a dedicated livery program too. You can also have up to 25 exterior components, including the front bumper, door panel, and rear wing finished in exposed carbon, which will almost certainly be very, very popular. Another big story, and I think the main event of this car, even more so than the power, is the aerodynamics and the downforce, because it creates 80% more of it than the Revuelto. So they've nearly doubled the downforce, and much of that has to be down to this enormous fixed rear wing. So it's not automatically adjusting and it's not manually adjustable. It is exactly how you see it at all times. It's made of carbon fiber, it's got the gurney flaps on either side, it's got revised mounting with the carbon fiber down here to improve the airflow, obviously works in tandem with the massive carbon rear diffuser. But more than just the amount of downforce that it creates, it's also how it looks, because I love the Revuelto styling. I think it's super sleek and neat, but looking at this and how it sits on the rear end, it now makes me feel like something was missing from that original design, and I think it's this wing. It really changes the whole form and look of the car. Elsewhere, the front splitter and underbody have been redesigned, and there's now an angled fin on the front bumper to direct airflow to the side coolers. One thing that is absolutely crucial to the aero doing its thing is the suspension keeping the car nice and flat and level, so there's no variations in the ride height. And to that end, the adaptive dampers are out, and in comes a passive system. It's not optional like Ferrari's Assetto Fiorano pack. This is standard on the SV. There's 14 levels of adjustment at the front and the rear. Lamborghini will give you presets for different tracks and different road settings. I believe it's a fairly involving job to change it. I don't think you can simply stick your hand underneath the rear end and do it like that. So probably going to need to get the tools out, but it should give you a lot more focus to the driving experience, which, let's be honest, that wasn't really a criticism of the standard Revuelto. So yeah, can't wait to see what that is like out on especially the circuit. Also new on each corner are the CCM R Plus brakes. They use carbon ceramic discs that are 420 by 40 millimeters at the front and 410 by 32 millimeters at the rear. Compared with the regular Revuelto's brakes, they're designed to stop the car quicker and dissipate heat more efficiently. Oh, and in addition to the standard narrow opaco finish, customers can choose between 12 further colors. Also, see the new 3D Superlight Dromos wheels finished in what Lamborghini calls shiny black. They're center locked and measure 20 inches at the front and 21 inches at the rear. Tyre options now include road-legal Bridgestone Potenza R semi-slicks, as well as the Potenza Sport and Blizzak LM005 winter option, interestingly. Before we get into more detail on the engine and the electronics, because there's a lot going on there, especially with the latter, I just want to touch on the cabin, because I'm still amazed at how much progress Lamborghini made from the Aventador to the Revuelto when it comes to usability. And just because this is the more extreme hardcore SV version, that doesn't appear to have changed. It is still, for a supercar / hypercar, a very usable, decent place
place to sit. It is a lot easier to see out of. It's a lot more comfortable. The driving position is better than the Aventador. The infotainment's better. It just feels like a much more normal place to sit without really losing any of that drama. So that's still a big plus point. The changes to the interior for the SV are focused into a few specific areas. So you still got that feel like a pilot philosophy that Lamborghini likes to chase, but in addition, you've got the ultra lightweight carbon fiber door panels, which look fantastic and also kind of give you much more of a racing car feel. And speaking of which, these carbon bucket seats, they are pretty extreme, but they look incredible, and I reckon that they're going to hold you in superbly on track as well. It's quite an aggressive profile, but there's still plenty of padding down here, and there's also a lovely design and colour scheme going on as well, which obviously matches the outside of the car. And just like the regular Revuelto, there is carbon fibre absolutely everywhere. It's not just the new lightweight door panels. You've got it in the centre console, the steering wheel, gear shift paddles, the steering wheel itself, the dashboard, also up here on the passenger side above the passenger information display. It's covered in it, but then it is a Lamborghini. One thing which I nearly forgot actually is the new Pilota drive mode, which is available on this little dial on the bottom right-hand side of the steering wheel.
This unlocks a 5-stage traction control system, which Lamborghini insists is not a drift mode, merely a way for the driver to gain more control on circuit by gradually dialing out the interference.
I'll quickly talk about the engine, the powertrain, because the 6.5-litre naturally aspirated V12 is completely unchanged. Even the exhaust system is the same. That's got a slightly different software on it for different sound profiles, slightly different sound profiles, but otherwise it is identical to the standard Revuelto, which is absolutely no bad thing at all. It's just one of the best parts of the car. However, what has changed and what has enabled Lamborghini to get that headline power figure is a change to the electrical element and specifically the size of the battery.
Rather than 3.8 kilowatt hours, it's now 7.3, and that means 4 times greater performance consistency and a 49 brake horsepower increase, making 1,050 bhp in total. Total system torque is 1,051 pounds-foot with 0 to 62 miles an hour in 2.4 seconds. Plus, 0 to 124 miles an hour takes just 6.7. Top speed, meanwhile, is 214 miles an hour. Keeping all of that in check and helping to stop the car is the new integrated brake control system that works in tandem with the 6D sensor we first saw on the one-off Lamborghini Fenomeno. By taking acceleration and angular velocity measurements, the systems can precisely estimate vehicle speed, side slip angle, and the coefficient of friction between the tyres and the road surface. In short, because the car has a fuller, more up-to-date picture of what it's doing at all times, brake applications across all 4 wheels are more precise and responsive, thus shortening braking distance and improving control when simultaneously stopping and turning.
It clearly works because Lamborghini has managed to set a production car lap record with the SV around a famous German circuit, although not the one you're thinking of. No, Lamborghini actually went to the Hockenheimring and set a 1-minute 41.6 second lap, which is a record for production cars. And for context, a DTM car is lapping in the high 130s on slick tyres. So that is a very, very quick time. I asked Lamborghini why the Hockenheimring, and they said there's a few reasons, availability being one, but also the big braking zones at the end of the long back straight has been a really good place to test the new braking systems on the SV. And I also think that part of it will be the very long straight and just how much power this car generates.
So, while Lamborghini may have made the Revuelto more sensible and rounded than the Aventador, this SV model is proof that there's still a wild streak in there. Mind you, the tech, such as the 6D sensor and integrated brake control, does feel very Ferrari, so it'll be interesting to see how it compares to Maranello's offerings, something which I should be able to do in the autumn of this year when we get our hands on the Revuelto SV on circuit. But what do you think though? Is the SV what you were hoping for, and will it live up to its predecessors? Let us know in the comments below.